Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this particular tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you on how to draft a crop shirt with a cargo pocket. If it's something you're interested in, hop in and let's start. So the first thing I'm going to do is to come in by 2 inches. So I came in by 2 inches and this particular measurement is going to serve as my button line. So that's the first step to this particular crop shirt. So we are going to come in by 2 inches and this particular 2 inches is going to serve as our button line, and I'm going to draw it out. So the next thing is to label it. So I'm just going to label it as button. So the next thing to do is to get our neck measurement. So for my width, I'm going to come in by 2.5 inches, how wide I want it to be. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to get my length, the length of my neck. I also put it at 2.5 inches. So the next thing I want to do is to connect it using my curve rule. So it's going to make this neck pattern. So I'm just going to use my curve rule and mark out the neck. So now we've done our button and we've done our neck. So the next thing I want to do is to get my shoulder measurement. So my shoulder measurement is 14. I divided it by 2. I got 7. So I'm going to mark out 7 as my shoulder measurement. So the next thing is to get my shoulder slope. So I'm going to come in by 1 inches from my shoulder measurement, and I'm going to connect it from the neck side to my shoulder slope using my ruler. So guys, after getting my shoulder slope, I'm just going to come in from the shoulder down to my breast point. So from my shoulder down to my breast point, I'm going to mark it out, and I have 10. I'm going to mark that out. So I'm going to use my ruler to just make a straight line from my breast point. So the next thing I'm going to do is to get my length. So from my shoulder down to my length is 17 because it is a crop shirt. So I'm going to mark out my length also. We've marked out our breast line. The next thing is our length. So the next thing I'm going to do is to come in by 2 inches from my breast line. And that particular line is going to serve as our chest line. So I just came in by 2 inches from my breast line, and it is going to serve as our chest line. So I'm going to label it for you guys: chest line, breast line, and our length. So you're going to understand it. So I've labeled it chest line, breast line, and our length. To get your chest line, come up by 2 inches. So the next thing I'm going to do is from my shoulder slope down to my chest line, I'm going to connect it. So after making a straight line, I'm just going to measure from my shoulder slope down to my chest line. Whatever I have, I'm going to just point out the middle. So point out your middle also. And the next thing, after pointing out the middle part for my armhole, I'm going to come in by 1/2 inch. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to put my breast measurement at the chest line, so I can be able to connect my armhole. So now I'm just going to make a small straight line to connect to the chest line. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to connect from the shoulder slope to the middle part, then down to my chest line. So this is going to serve as my armhole. So I'm going to connect it. So we've gotten our armhole like this. So we're just connecting it. So you can see we've gotten our armhole. Our armhole is ready. So the next thing I want to do is to put the particular measurement from my breast line down to my length, and I just added 2 inches for like sewing allowance and all. So I just added 2 inches because it's going to be like a free shirt. So I added 2 inches for the length also. So guys, after adding in my body measurement and 2 inches allowance, now I'm going to work on the shoulder. So from the shoulder part, I'm going to come down by 1 inches. So just watch the way I'm doing it. I'm going to come down by 1 inches, and this particular part is very essential for your shirt. So I came down by 1 inches, and I'm going to use my ruler to make a slant. So I'm just going to star it out. So that particular place is where I'm going to cut out. So I'm going to cut it out, and don't forget we are going to add that 1 inches that we cut out. We are going to add it to our back. So we are going to add it to our back pattern. So this is the front, you can see. So now let's work on the back. So guys, for my back pattern, I'm going to come down by 3 inches. So I'm going to mark it out, and I'll just call that place my starting line. So leave that 3 inches, we are going to work on it later. So now this particular place is our starting line. This particular line is our starting line. Then from my starting line down to my breast line, I'm going to mark it out. So we are at the back pattern now. So don't make it complicated to yourself. So that is our breast line. From my starting line down to my breast line for the back pattern. So the next thing is to, from my starting line down to the length, I'm going to mark it out also so that you guys can see. So we mark out our starting line, we mark out our breast line, then the next thing is our length. So I'm just going to mark out the length. So the next thing is to come down by 1 inches for my neck, and I'm going to use 2.5 inches that I use for the front width, how I want it to be wide. So for the length for the front was 2.5 inches. For the length for the back is 1 inches. So the neck at the back is always shorter. So I'm just going to properly use my curve rule to make sure it is well in place. So the next thing is to mark out my shoulder. My shoulder is 7 inches. So I'm just going to mark out 7 inches from my shoulder. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to come in by 2 inches. So you know, whenever I come in by 2 inches from my breast line, it is called our chest line. It is automatically transformed to our chest line. So I'm just going to draw it out there. So the next thing is just to make a straight line. So this particular armhole is different from the front. So we're just going to label a chest line, breast line, and our length. So the next thing is to get my, I'm just going to mark out my armhole. You can see the way I just did it. I didn't do it like the front. I just draw out a round armhole at the back. So now the next thing to do is to get my body measurements, and I'm just going to mark it out, and I'm going to add extra 2 inches. So I'm just going to make a straight line down because it is a free shirt. So I just make a straight line down. So guys, the next thing I want to do is to come in by 1 inches, and you know it's going to serve as our shoulder slope. So it's going to serve as our shoulder slope. So we've gotten our shoulder slope, we've gotten everything. So you see that particular measurement that we cut out at the front, we are now going to add it to this particular shoulder at the back. So you can see I came up by 1 inches. For the front, I came down by 1 inches and I cut it out. So for the back, we are going to add it. You can see we've added our 1 inches at the back. This is essential for your shirt. So now I'm just going to connect it using my curve rule. And guys, we are done for this particular pattern. If you have any question, you can comment. I'm going to reply. And guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys. Thank you for the support. So the next thing is just to show you guys the way the pattern is looking. You can see why we cut out the front and we added it to the back. You can see that the back is laying on the front. So that's the most essential part of a shirt. So that is all. Thank you guys. Bye.